Good evening. People have received food and cash benefits from the state for years to help families who are below the poverty line make ends meet. In the past, people bought their groceries with food stamps. Now they use what's called an electronic benefits transfer card, or an EBT card. It works just like a debit card with a PIN number, and it's reloaded monthly with your taxpayer dollars. As you'd expect, the food benefits are only to be used to buy food. But our CIA investigation found thousands of dollars in benefits meant to feed families are regularly used to buy everything from beer to drugs, and it's all on your dime.
I've got this food stamp card. I'm a little short on cash.
It's happening right under your nose. At mini marts, grocery stores, parking lots, people using and abusing welfare dollars right out in the open, selling their EBT cards for cash.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
This woman was caught on an undercover video doing just that, illegally trading her food stamp card, seen here to an undercover investigator with the Department of Social and Health Services. A crime investigators say is all too common.
I see it at least once a month.
Local mom Lauren Buckmaster told me people ask her to buy their food stamps all the time.
I'll get approached in a parking lot, or a friend will call me and say, hey, you know, I need some cash. Will you buy my food stamps?
DSHS says the going rate for this card on the street is 50 cents on the dollar. So if I had $100 in food stamps, I could sell that for $50. And getting that cash is easy. While you might have to show ID when you swipe your credit or debit card, it's not the same with EBT cards. There are no names or pictures on most cards, just a spot for a signature.
Give me half of that, I'd be happy.
So when people try to hawk their food stamps for cash, all it takes is one person to say,
yeah, I can do that.
And once EBT recipients have cash, there's no telling what your tax dollars will be spent on.
Yeah, a package of Marlboro Lights.
I have seen people buy beer and cigarettes with their food stamps.
We hear every week about incidents of trafficking of EBT cards, and that's one of the first things that we're trying to address.
Steve Lowe is the Senior Director of the Office of Fraud and Accountability for the DSHS, a newly revamped investigative department to crack down on welfare cheats. Steve says if they're not used to buy cigarettes or beer, the cards are often handed over to dealers in exchange for drugs.
We hear from those drug task forces that they'll do a search warrant and they'll find multiple cards, and what we've found is that the individual will be trading their card for drugs, which is not unusual.
Across the state, the Office of Fraud and Accountability doubled its resources this year, from 5 investigators to 10, with one undercover investigator placed right here in Spokane.
As the new investigator, that's going to be my goal, and my job is to come in and really take a look at what's been going on, where is it occurring, how bad the problem is. Talk to witnesses, pull up records, you know, and all other investigative tools that we have.
At this point, DSHS says there's no telling how widespread the problem is.
I think that's really that's the million-dollar question, and that's asked by the legislatures all the time. What is the extent of the fraud?
Make that a multi-million-dollar question. According to the USDA, trafficking diverts an estimated $330 million nationwide from food stamp benefits every year. If you break that down another way, that means 1 cent of every dollar is trafficked for something other than food. For moms like Lauren, who has 5 mouths to feed, the abuse is infuriating.
I don't understand what goes through those people's head when they're selling something that should be going to their children into their children's stomach.
Lauren says she has to use every penny of her monthly EBT card allowance to make ends meet.
For a family of 5, I get $264. Without it, I probably wouldn't be able to feed my family as well as I can.
Come on, girls!
I lost my job, you know, and now my husband's the only breadwinner, so it's, you know, it helps a lot.
How does it taste? Awesome.
Welfare abuse adds insult to injury for families like Lauren's who use the card the way it was designed to be used, at home and at the grocery store.
You can buy all food items, as long as it's food, you know. It could be anything from, you know, meat and vegetables to candy bars and pop.
Under state rules, EBT card holders are not allowed to buy beer, wine, liquor, prepared food, or certain energy drinks. And many local grocery stores, when you go to check out, there's actually a machine specifically for EBT card customers. The register actually separates the eligible items in the total so people know what items they're allowed to buy on the EBT card and what they're not. But those checks and balances don't always ensure EBT cards are being used to feed the families who really need it.
Thank you.
Now, we just showed you some of the major abuses with food stamps, but there's another supplemental benefit on these cards, cash benefits. The DSHS supplements cash to families who are below the poverty line to help them also pay for bills like rent and utilities. Coming up tomorrow on KHQ Local News, we'll show you where people are really using those cash benefits, cash that comes directly from you collected in taxes, and we have the documents to prove it. That's coming up tomorrow on KHQ Local News at 6. Reporting live, I'm Chelsea Kopta, KHQ Local News.